This video presentation is to introduce the basic operation and setup of the Martin Yale GC210 business card slitter. But before we get started with the slitter, let's talk a little bit about the cards you're going to imprint. With your slitter, you receive the template to produce a 10-up card, similar that should produce a 8.5 by 11, somewhat like this. As you can see, we've added a bar so we can make a bleed imprint at the bottom of every card, and there's a bleed imprint on on each side of the card. So this is a 3-sided bleed. Now you can make the cards a 4-sided bleed or no bleed at all. Just make sure that your image that's coming off your digital printer is very square on the sheet. Should be perpendicular to the top and parallel to the sides. And understand that many digital printers will shift that image just a little bit from one sheet to the next. So that gutter also helps you compensate for that. When your cards are cut, they're going to look like this. So each card has been cut, the end has been cut off, the middle has been cut out, the back has been cut out, and between each card a small gutter has been cut out, and you can see how it's cut off the bottom of the imprint to create the bleed on the bottom and on both sides of the card. So as long as your imprint is nice and straight, you haven't had too much image shift from one to the other, then your cutter should cut perfectly square, wonderful cards, just with some basic setup. So now we'll talk about that. Okay, to use the GC10, you've got your image, and I've got about a 5/16 of an inch stack of paper here, and I'm going to slide it into the bottom station. Always start with the bottom station. So the system comes with weights like this, and we'll just place that right on top. It helps to make sure that all of your sheets are going in. Now we're going to flip this on. And as you'll see, it makes the vertical cut first, and it's cutting out the middle and cutting out both sides. It should cut nice and smooth. All of your cards falling into place, and you've got the 2 black rubber stoppers there, keeping them from falling off the tray. So let's pull this out. And we're going to take these vertically cut cards, fix that stack, turn it off just a second there. And we're going to place these in this top station. And just like before, we're going to take the weight for the top, slip it on there, and turn the machine on. And you can see the cards are now fully cut and falling into the stations on the top. Okay. All the cards are done. Turn the system off. Take them out of each station. And your business cards will cut. The system will cut about 300 cards a minute. So let's talk now about some things that might go wrong and how you can address them.
We are now going to go through basic setup and troubleshooting of the GC210. First, if you happen to have a sample strip cut of your printed card stock of the proper paper thickness, you will want to place it in the center down here on top of the feed tire, underneath the pressure arm. If your piece of material goes underneath the retarder and you feel a drag, and you can feel a drag there, that is very good. Now, while it's still in place, use a second card, and now you see it will not pass underneath the sheet separator. So you are now set for 1 card thickness. You will perform this on both the upper and the lower settings. The adjustment of the sheet separator will be over here on the side of the machine. It will show which way to turn it, clockwise to make it thinner, counterclockwise to allow thicker material through. So you have a top adjustment and a bottom adjustment for each shelf. We are now going to discuss proper paper guide adjustment After you have determined where the registry is on your printed sheet in alignment with the slitter blades, what is most important is once you do have that registry established, start on the bottom with your stack of paper. One sheet of paper will not work because you'll see in a moment. Once you place your stack of printed stock in place, some stock from ream to ream will have a difference in width. This width will allow this play side to side from your stack. Therefore, you could have one sheet go in slightly crooked and the next one go in another way. So this is how I'm going to request you do that. Loosen the knob underneath one paper guide only. Push in on the paper guide, forcing the stack against the side of the other paper guide. Now push down on the paper stack, which is also holding the paper guide in place, and slightly snug your paper guide. Now, as you can see, it slides very, very easily, and there is no play side to side. This will guarantee your stock to be fed straight. Repeat this setup on the top. Determine where your registry is. Make sure you have one paper stop loosened. As you can see, this is already loose. Loosen one paper stop, push it up against the other, and push this up against. Now from there, you definitely want to hold that paper stop down, tighten the stop, check for side to side. There is no or little, very little side to side play, but yet it is extremely free to be fed. This will guarantee both your upper and lower opening to feed the cardstock straight. We are now going to review what makes a good cut for your business cards. Part of it is how the scrap is evacuated away from the working area of the cards. And as you can see, we've already partially fed a sheet through the machine and stopped it. I am now going to lift the rear guard, and as you can see, we have the two 3.5 inch wide strips have already been cut and they've exited. Make sure the strips, when pushed down, are free of any interference of rubbing on the stripper plate on the back. As you can also see, the 3 pieces of scrap that is being cut off the sides of the card as well as the gutter down through the center. What makes this very important for the scrap evacuation is that your unit is sitting on top of a waste bin that is supplied. This waste bin is a 60 liter and it has very large area to accumulate very much scrap. Your waste will freely fall down into waste receptacle until you can conveniently empty it in the future. Now let's talk about the upper opening. As we previously showed you before for the bottom opening, we have fed through a series of cards partially on the top and stopped the machine so you can see the scrap evacuation. You can see the 5 cards from your 10-up format being cut with the outside scrap, and all of the gutters from the in-between cards have been stripped out, and gravity will allow this scrap to fall while these cards will exit into the exit tray. It is very important that your cards, are relatively flat. Therefore, after printing your cardstock, please lay on a flat surface such as a table and place books on until it's cooled. This will help your cards to freely exit the machine and run full lots. Your unit is also supplied with a set of top plates. One is for the 11-inch dimension, the other is for your 8.5. For simplicity, I'm showing you only one, the 11-inch. What these top plates are for is to provide additional weight on top of lighter cardstock that has been laser printed because the paper is curled. You will have inconsistent feeding and card cutting with curled stock. Therefore, these plates can assist in trying to get a proper cut. After putting in your cardstock, these plates will go on top of the stack and push it in. During the next run, you should pull them out before you preload the stack, and then it goes in again. If you are running glossy stock and are having difficulty with it feeding correctly or non-hesitating, Martin Yale does offer as an accessory an additional style of top plate. As you can see the difference, one top plate is cut out for around the feed tire. The other has a small tongue on it, which is going to assist the pressure arm, and a little more here that is going to push the stock against the feed tire more completely. In the same operation, put in your glossy stock, then install your top plate. You will be able to perform glossy stock just like any other. Periodically, it is a good practice to maintain your feed roller. The feed roller will get dirty from accumulating of paper dust and ink. A very simple way to perform this cleaning operation is to utilize your paper support that comes with the machine. Remove the paper support as shown, take a clean white rag, place the paper support inside of it, and pull tightly. You may use warm soapy water or any other household cleaner that will not contain bleach nor ammonia, because that will damage your feed tire. Lightly moisten the rag, turn the machine on, and insert your moistened rag down onto the feed tire and apply pressure slightly and move it back and forth, and your feed tire will now be clean.